Year after year, our government prioritizes recurring expenditure over capital expenditure. Ministries go before the National Assembly and quietly admit what they have received for capital projects, less than 1% in some cases. Based on reports in early February on the 2025 fiscal year, the Federal Ministry of Health reportedly received about 36 million naira in capital expenditure, while the presidency allegedly received at least 150 million naira for a state house banquet to launch Renew Her, a women's in health initiative. We spent more on launching the idea of healthcare than on funding healthcare itself. And these are not spare funds. These are borrowed funds. Every naira spent is debt. Every misallocated naira is a life that could have been saved. How does a person have an accident without medical care for 2 whole days? Because doctors are on strike. And why does the idea of doctors withdrawing service not move our leaders to empathy, worry, urgency, reform, whatever, just anything? Why isn't allocative efficiency the central doctrine of governance in Nigeria? This simply means directing the public funds towards the sector with the highest welfare impact per naira spent. Now go back to first principles. Go back to the hierarchy of needs: hunger, healthcare, education, power, security. Today we are projecting roughly 15 trillion naira for a coastal road to enhance logistics, which is good. But remember, many federal roads remain death traps. Some governors are building flyovers and underground tunnels, while primary and secondary schools lack roofs, libraries, laboratories, and of course, even trained teachers. This is not development. It is a misplacement of priority. Nigerians need liberation through food security, functioning hospitals, quality education, reliable electricity, connectivity that powers productivity, and of course, the security of lives and property. When governance is intentional, projects are scrutinized for their direct impact on people, based on the hierarchy of needs. Anything else is vanity, and vanity funded by borrowed funds is wickedness. A nation that borrows to fund optics while underfunding survival is not developing. Let us fund what keeps people alive. Fund what makes them productive. Fund what compounds into prosperity. Everything else is mortgaging the future of our unborn children to finance optics.
I think several months ago, was it several months, several weeks ago? Several months ago, I also recently, I did an advocacy on budget, our budget integrity, and emphasizing the fact that one of the bane of our development is the very fact that the budget, or the document we call our budget itself, is fiction. It's fiction. Is devoid from reality. I know a lot of people came for me at that time. What was I saying? Because we had the president who came out in September last year to say that we've met our revenue target. All right, only for us to hear from the Minister of Finance in December that we have not met that revenue target. We didn't meet it at all. And we're beginning to, and I remember one of the things I said then, that who do you believe, the CEO or the chief accountant? Because the CEO is trying to sell a product. The chief accountant is telling you the truth in terms of the number. I will believe the chief accountant. And so it brings back this question back to the whole revenue problem. Because at the end of the day, what you see clearly is that we have a revenue problem as a country. So how do you raise revenue? What do you do to be able to plug this? So the conversation has to be multifaceted. We have to have the courage to be able to look our government in the eye, ask for accountability, use the current systems that are already enshrined in law to be able to demand that level of accountability. But we have to also tell ourselves some very bitter truths. If there is no monies to be able to do some things that we want to do, then we have to have prioritization and look at what kinds of expenditure can we make for people. Because there will always be people that will say, oh, come and build roads. Oh, invest in education. Oh, do this. But we must have a very important, honest conversation to say which expenditure can impact the people most. And I think that if you have this conversation, a lot of people will say healthcare. A lot of people will say education. A lot of people will say, security. These are things that impact people, and these are things that we should spend money on.
Basic projects.
So I was talking to a couple of business people recently, young people who are just trying to start up something new, create solutions, and each and every one of them had a bitter story with every new idea that they tried to start, and it just goes back to one thing, all of them, human capital, right? Just the fact that you can't trust the human beings to be able to play their role, even if they are being paid, is stopping you from even solving a problem in the first place. Just because of that. I'm trying to start up something that I feel like could have created jobs for, like, let's say 50,000 people. But when I think about it, I'm asking myself, is this thing going to create jobs for them, or are they going to just drain me dry while I'm trying to be the same that will create jobs for them in the first place? Because everybody is just trying to get for themselves.
Yeah.
And this they're getting for themselves isn't because they have a choice. It's because the system has failed them. It's because people have not prioritized their job to do what they need to do. Rather, they've just said, as long as I'm in the position, it is my turn, because at the next couple of years, I will not be in that position. So let me take what I can get from this position now. And that's where the problem is now. The fact that we don't have sustainability in policies, the fact that everybody wants to bring a new policy that fits their own agenda, that's the problem. There are people that end up at the end of this whole thing that will end up being the scapegoat for you misappropriating the funds that you're supposed to use to solve a problem. So for me, at this point, I'm just asking for one thing, and I'm looking straight into the camera. Which is my camera? Get conscience.
Honestly.
Get conscience.
Get conscience for sure, but I don't understand why, as you said, you are allocating, and I know you said it's padded and all of that, but why would you allocate and just not have all of it go to the right place? Look, we're here, you're not even providing the basics. The basics were built, as you said, you're building coastal highway. Children are out of school in this country.
18 million.
The largest number.
18
million. We're building coastal highway. What is that supposed to achieve when our children are not educated? What is when you have citizens that cannot have access to healthcare? Because the money allocated, I'm just aghast. 36 million. I read somewhere there was some report about someone needing an MRI in Kwara State, and there was no MRI in the whole of this. Is it Ilorin alone?
Kwara Ilorin, yeah.
Okay. We don't have equipment. We're losing citizens every day, and we're prioritizing things that don't even. I mean, big projects are important, of course, but how can you have these big projects, build a coastal road, when your people are starving, your people do not have healthcare, your children are uneducated and have no access to education? I don't understand it.
You see, this true identity of a thing, I think, is a serious course that we need to take, knowing who you are. Because you see, low or zero self-esteem is a disease. That is why you see many, you are looking at me as if you don't know what I'm talking about. Let me show you. That's why you see many of them that they encourage themselves and motivate themselves, the kind of car they drive, the kind of bag they carry, the kind of wristwatches they put on. Yes. It's because they don't know who they are.
Yes.
It's because, listen, some time ago I studied somewhere around the world, I won't mention, and that was about 25, 26 years ago. And the first time I saw the president coming, there was no wow. Big country. There was no wow. I was shocked. I only saw two bikers just move, and at the robot is at the traffic light. At the robot, everybody stopped, including the president. I was inside my car. His entourage was beside, his convoy was beside me. All the cars were 6. Then one helicopter in the space. That's all. But 2015 or when, I went to Unicar to go and do sustainability skills for undergraduates and the employability skills for graduates in Unicar. And we got to Margaret Ekpo International Airport. Now saw water they drain inside the airport. I went to the station manager. I said, please, what's the issue here? And you see, we have written for approval to fix it. I said, how much will it fix? He said, actually, in real terms, maybe the very ridiculous amount of money that people working there can gather and fix. And when they now release the money, they take their money back. Right there, that day, Governor Ben Ayade came for one trip, and 34 cars lined up to come and meet, to come and visit, to come and receive him. 34 vehicles. And out of these 34 vehicles were, don't let me mention brands, 5, as at that time, the value of those cars there were about 300 million. 5 inside that, yet we got inside. Listen, I don't understand why this. Wait, is it that if you don't have 20, 30 cars, we will not move? Wait, I'm running mad here. Oh. I don't get it. Is it that when we don't have this number of cars, we cannot do what we want to do? Kilo Shewa?
There's
so
a lot
it
to be said,
continues.
but we keep hope alive. We speak out and we take action. Ensure you contribute your quota by joining us at the table, same time, same channel next week. Till then, it is goodbye from all of us at the table.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.